Hey everyone, welcome to the month of May, and it's starting out in a crapper. Bitcoin was down today, along with the miners were down today. So we had a great month for pretty much April, where we ended up the month in the green, but now we're starting a new month of May, and we are down surprisingly. I thought we would be up to date based on the news that came out that First Republic Bank was going under. Well, it was sold off to JP Morgan Chase, but I thought things were going to be going up for Bitcoin, but it's not. It's coming back down. So it might be one of those things where we have a sell in May and go away type of deals. We'll see how this month is going to play out. And then we'll take a look at also a couple news stories that we have here, which include Bitfarms regains compliance on the NASDAQ. And then we also have Bitfarms providing our April production updates, which is great. And then Cipher Mining also provides it. And then we'll also take a look at Marathon's updated dashboard for the new charts that I've been working on, all of these guys. So we have that as well. And that'll be it. All right. So as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. And I'm invested in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And let's get into the markets, see what's going on here. So if we look at the markets right now, we can see that the S&P was down 0.04% to 4167. Dow Jones was down 0.14 to 34,051. NASDAQ was down 0.11% to 13,231. Bitcoin was down today, almost 4.5%. It's down right now 4.44% to 27,950. We haven't closed over into the new day, but we have closed into the new month. So if we look at the monthly here on Bitcoin, we can see that in the month of April, we were up 2.71% on the month, which is good. We had 4 good months here of growth. Well, 2 really good months, and then 2 that were kind of subpar. We had pretty good growth here in March. March, we were up 23%. February, we were up only 0.07%, and then January, we were up 39.92%. So we've had 2 really good months and 2 kind of lousy months for growth, but nonetheless, we were in the green. So that's good there. So with that being said, I think we might have finally a little red month here coming in May. We'll see how that's going to play out, where we might end up at. We'll have to take a look at the numbers here, but right now on the daily, we are looking like the RSI is coming down here a little bit to about 45. Last time we were here was back here. Price was actually lower at that point. So that's a good sign, at least on the daily there. If we look at the 4-hour chart, we can see that the RSI has come down to the 30 mark here. Bounced off of it a little bit here to 34 right now. And last time we were back here was actually over here. Price at that point is actually lower. So the 4-hour and the daily chart, we're still looking pretty good. I'm going to put in here the daily moving averages here. We are bouncing off of the 50-day moving averages, it looks like right now on the 4-hour chart, along with the 1-hour chart. We're bouncing off of it. So this kind of might be our support here. We've bounced off of it before here as well. You can see it over here in the past as well. We've been bouncing off of that in the past, so we may continue to bounce up higher on this. Now, if we look at the 1-hour chart, we can see that the RSI did bottom out here at approximately, let me squeeze this, at about 22, so definitely in the oversold territory. Has bounced up a little bit here, but right now, if we look at it in the close-up, we can see that the RSI is at 35. Last time the RSI was here, just a couple hours, price was higher at that point, but if we go back out further from that, we can see that the last time, let's see, right around there, where can we find it? We were back here, and price at that point was actually lower. So it's kind of hit and miss right now on the 1-hour chart as far as which way it wants to go. We are bouncing off of the 50, which is good, so that might be a good sign for us. We may go up above that, but if that doesn't hold, well, then we might be going down to our, I think it's going to be the 200 weekly moving average, which is the red line here, which is now at approximately 26,000 as it is. So that's kind of where I think the lowest we might go in the month of May would probably be around the 26,000 if this 50 daily moving average doesn't hold support. Okay. Other than that, if we pass through this 200 weekly moving average, we may come down to the 200 daily moving average. And that's right now at, where's that one at? That one is at 24,345. Other than that, after that, we have a support at 23,800. So those are kind of our lines of support here that we will keep an eye on, see where we end up at. But right now, I like the fact that it is bouncing off of the 50-day moving average, so that's good there. Okay, so that's Bitcoin right there. Let's take a look at Ethereum really quick as well. Ethereum was down today. It is down 2.56% to 1,823. And if we look at the daily lines on that one, let's take a look at it. It actually blew past the 50-day moving average here. We'll see if we can bounce above it here a little bit and go from there. But right now it's below it. On the 4-hour chart, we can see here that it did touch or get close to the 30 on the RSI. It went up a little bit here. Last time we were back here. Price at that point was actually lower we're right about the same spot, it looks like. Kind of hard to tell on the chart. Let's see if we can zoom this in. It was back here and right there, and it was actually, looks like it's, this might be the closest one that we are. And it's right there. So the price is still the same on the 4-hour chart. 1-hour chart, RSI is now at 35. Last time we were back here, if we go far enough back, let's see, it'd probably be down here. Price was actually lower at that point, but if we look at the closer range, we can see that the price was actually higher. So right now, the determining factor is 1-hour charts on both Bitcoin and Ethereum to see where they actually end up at, or if we have a reversal going to the upside, okay? So that's it for those guys. Let's take a look at the miners here really quick as well while we're at it, and put those guys on the daily. And they had a really rough day today. So NA was down $5 or 5.22% to 42 cents. Argo was down 1.05% to $1.41. Bit Digital was down 4.56% to $1.89. Bitfarms was down 4.31% to $1.11. Cipher was down 9.09% to $2.10. CleanSpark was down 12.53% to $3.42. Cores was down 6.82% to 35 cents. DigiHost was down 11.63% to $1.52. DMG was down 2.6% to 21 cents. Greenwich was down 6.14% to 46 cents. Hive was down 5.86% to $3.05. Hut 8 was down 7.26% to $1.66. Iris Energy was down 8.25 to $3.67. Marathon was down 12.81% to $8.78. Mawson was down 5.4% to $2.98. And Riot was down 12.04% to $10.52. Okay, so and we got a couple more here. Soluna was down 3.87 to 20 cents. Stronghold was down 6.6% to 92 cents. And TerraWolf was down 6.18% to $1.67. So that's it for that one. Like I said, it was a pretty bad day to start out the new month of May right now. Hopefully it doesn't end this way, but right now it's just not looking great. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick as well while we're at it. Let's take a look at the 7-day average here. That 7-day average has been coming down here to 331 million terahashes on the 7-day average. And then on the 1-day average, we're kind of coming back up a little bit here to 358 million as it is right now, but we're kind of trending in this kind of line here, or rectangle, you could say. We got some peaks and valleys here, bottoms. That's kind of trading in between those right now. Okay, but as more miners get installed, I would expect that to go up as well. All right, so that's it for those. Let's take a look at the stories that we do have here on a couple of the miners. The first one being Bitfarms regaining compliance with NASDAQ continued listing requirements. So this is pretty quick. Bitfarms has received confirmation from the NASDAQ Stock Market LLC that it has regained compliance with the minimum bid price requirement of $1 per share under NASDAQ listing rule 555082. So that's obviously good news. It's been $10 or well, it's probably been more, a little bit more than that right now on it. But that's a good sign for Bitfarms there. And let's get into their production updates as well. So Bitfarms mines 379 Bitcoin in April. That is a little bit less than they did in March. And we'll get into the reasons why here. So here's the details. Bitfarms, as we announced last week, boosted by production increases from new installations in Rio Cuarto, Argentina. Our operational hash rate reached 5 exahash on April 27th, 2023, said Geoff Murphy, CEO of Bitfarms. Importantly, our private power producer in Argentina is now fully permitted to provide up to 100 megawatts, and we are able to begin purchasing power under this agreement at prices expected to be below 3 cents per kilowatt. So that's really good news there for them. With the permitting milestone achieved, we are positioned to expand in Rio Cuarto with source power costs that should reduce our average cost of power and realize our growth target of 6 exahash in 2023. Additionally, in April, we entered into an agreement to acquire 22 megawatts of hydropower capacity in BC, Quebec, subject to closing that is expected to drive further growth in our renewable energy portfolio. So that's also good there. So they are still looking to grow even further this year. Ben G, Chief Mining Officer of Bitfarms, said in April, BTC production declined 6% year over year, as a 52% increase in our hash rate was offset by 61% increase in the network difficulty and 9-day shutdown in Rio Cuarto as we transitioned to a new substation. So slight delays or slight shutdown there for them. They didn't have that many machines in there anyway, so it's not a big deal, but it did obviously impact their production on it. This was also new for me here. So we also purchased an additional 650 petahash of new Bitmain and MicroBT miners to fill out another 22 megawatts in the first warehouse, which is expected to increase our total hash rate further 13% upon deployment in the coming months. So that was interesting. I haven't seen anything on that. I'll have to go through some of their releases to the SEC and things like that to see if I can find it in there. if it's in there, but I did add it to my spreadsheet as well, so it's in there. Okay, down here for April 2023, we were cash flow positive from operating after scheduled interest and principal payments, reflecting improved mining economics. As in March, we sold less BTC than we produced, which resulted in a net addition of 30 BTC to Treasury in April, bringing the total at the end of the month to 465 Bitcoin, which is good. There. Mining review, let's take a look at the numbers here. So here's the numbers that we do have for them. And let's see here, April 2023 are over here. So total BTC mine was 379, operating hash rate 5 exahash. BTC average per exahash was 81. Operating capacity is 196 megawatts. Hydropower 178 watts per terahash. Efficiency is at 39. And BTC sold was 349. And then down here, they talk about the purchase of the miners. So purchased over 6,200 new Bitmain and MicroBT miners to fill out an additional 22 megawatts in the first warehouse. So that's news for us there. So that does drive up the hash rate for future hash rate a little bit here. And let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them, and we'll explain some of the stuff that we do have on them. Price has not been updated yet. I was waiting for the market to close. It closed a little bit ago, so I'll get this updated before I get this to the Patreon members. So they will always obviously get the latest data that I do have on everything. And here's what we have for Bitfarms right now. Shares outstanding about 229 million, roughly 230 million. Stock price is now going to be under the $1.16. It's going to be what, $1 something. I can't remember what it was at. Market cap is about 266 million as it is. Current hash rate is at 5 exahash. Future hash rate, I'm at 8 exahash right now. So let's talk about this really quick while we're on the subject here. Down here in my stack of stats, we do have some miners here that I'm still using here that I could probably take out of here. These are the 63 terahash miners, which are over here. And maybe I can zoom this in for you guys so you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. So those are 63 terahash miners. We also have these 74 terahash miners and these 82 terahash miners as well. I'm thinking that these are probably getting, if they haven't been already, they are going to be taken out. I know for a fact that some of these have been taken out, so they're not included in here. But they're still included in my numbers down here. So if we update this and take out those older generation miners that might not be operating anymore, that would get us to a hash rate of about 7.2 with everything that's currently supposed to be energized and going. The other miners that might be kind of questionable here are these 80 terahash miners as well. And if we reduce those, they'll bring us down to about 6.8 exahash or something like that, roughly right around there. So those are the kind of things that are questionable for me right now until I get some more definitive answers. But right now, we'll just take those out, say that they're not operating, and then eventually I'll move these out and supplement those with some of the other miners that are down here to get to the same numbers for them. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. Now let's go back to the 125%. Okay, so as far as Bitcoin production is concerned for them, they do have still pretty good growth for them. They did have a down month here in April. 9 days they were shut down. In Argentina, that brought them down a little bit here. And we've also had the network hash rate increase, so that's working against the miners as well. So in March, they mined 424. In April, now 379. They've been kind of up and down here a little bit, it looks like. Their BTC HODL was 465. Market cap of that is about 4.79%. And the rest is their basically hash rate, I'm guessing, valued. Hash rate left about 2.2 as it is right now. Yep. And future hash rate about 7.2, maybe around 7 or so, right, roughly around there. Bitcoin HODL was 465, Bitcoin sold was 349, and then BTC produced was 379. So we got all that figured out. And then you can see here their monthly over month difference BTC mined. Pretty big decrease here in April, 45 less than in March. March was an up month for them, 37, but February was definitely a worse month for them at down 99. BTC HODL, you can see that coming down here ever since pretty much summer of last year, where they started selling quite heavily into the summer and through, well, pretty much the rest of the year for the most part. They've consistently kind of sold here a little bit, but it has definitely gotten better towards the end here. You can see that they're kind of starting to sell less and less Bitcoin each month, which is a good sign there. And then BTC per exahash efficiency has been coming down, but it has been coming down for all the miners. So we'll see where other miners come in. Bitfarms usually came in like the top 3, top 5 miners for production. Sometimes they were number 1 also, but with them being shut down for 9 days, that's definitely going to have an impact on them based on the information we do have. Now, if we look at the hash rate growth, you can see that they've had consistent growth in hash rate. Only 1 month they missed any growth, and that was in October. Other than that, they've been consistently adding at least 100 petahash or close to that to 200, and now just recently 300 petahash a month. So that's nice, consistent growth, which is what we like to see. Value as far as revenue from Bitcoin being mined, you can see that in May they were at 13.69 million, went down in June, went back up a little bit here in August, then back down towards November, and November was their worst month, it looks like. December went up a little bit, January went up, February went down, but then they went up in March and April, so that's continued to go up here nicely as well. And then BTC sold value, you can see that they've been selling about 10 million or so on average. They had a couple months here where they sold more, around 30 million, 15, 34, and 66, almost 67 million in June of last year. And then the hash rate difference, we talked about that one already. Bitcoin sold last 4-quarter operating costs. We're using just the standard numbers, so you guys have seen this already. And then last 4-quarter revenues. I am using the current quarter that we're in, and I'll show you guys that number here. So I'm using the estimated number right now for the 1 quarter plus the 3 prior quarters, which is also Q1 is estimated, and then the Q4 and Q3 are actual numbers for them. So we're using that data here up top. And that gets us to about 123.8 million if Bitcoin stays where it's at, price-wise, and their production is the same. This is kind of where they would kind of be, but if they continue to grow a little bit here, Bitcoin price goes up in value, that's going to have an impact on at least the current quarter that we're in, which is Q2 right now. Okay, based on all that we're looking at it with a P of 15, 50% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at it $4.04 was where I think they should be compared to some of the other miners as well. And then if we're looking at 75% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at a P of 15 also, so somewhere around $6.06. So this is kind of in line with the institutions and analyst ratings. We can see here that, well, it's not in line, it's above, it's the other one that's in line, the next one that we're going to cover. But that's showing us $1.48 for the high, average is $1.48, and low is $1.48. I have them much higher here. They're currently at right around $1 something. So they're still undervalued from what the analysts think, but we only have one analyst with a buy rating for them. As far as institutions are concerned, we did have a little bit of decrease from 113 to 112, and some shares were sold to 37.1 million from 37.28 million. So now we have 17% owned by institutions compared to 1708. Okay, so based on all of this, I still think that they are way undervalued compared to where some of the other miners are. So I think they still have some growth left to them. At least I would think possibly, even if we go down to a P of 10 towards future, you're looking at $2.69 to $4.04. So I think they are still way undervalued from where they should be. Okay, let me know what you guys think of all of this. As always, the spreadsheet is going to be available to my Patreon members, and then YouTube members get a printed out version of these dashboard charts as well, and that'll be coming out tomorrow for you guys there. Okay, so that's Bitfarms. Like what I'm seeing here as far as their continued growth, which is good to see. Hopefully they can continue that going forward and get above the 6 exahash, possibly closer to 7, if not higher, towards the end of the year. Okay, so that's it for that one. Let's take a look at our next one, which is going to be on Cipher. So Cipher provides also their April 2023 operational update. And we're seeing kind of the same thing here a little bit with them as we did with Bitfarms, with a little bit less being mined here. So here's the key metrics here also with Cipher. They have a total of 4 sites. 3 sites that they own are a, what do they call that? It's a joint venture where they have 49% stake in it. So whatever they mine in that is not being reported as revenue, is being reported under the assets column, I believe. But I think they're reporting all of that being mined here, okay? We're looking at what they actually have in revenue as far as for their own self-mining, which is the Odessa facility. And I'll show you guys some of more of the numbers and explain how I'm kind of calculating things here, okay? So key metrics, BTC mined was 406, BTC sold, so they sold pretty much everything that they mined. BTC held, they still have 427 BTC. And then deployed miners, about 59,000 of those. Monthly end operating hash rate is 6 exahash. So it's about 5 exahash at Odessa, 1 exahash. That's the 49% stake that they have in there. Okay. So Cipher, we are delighted to announce we achieved our initial corporate build-out goal of 6 exahash during the month of April. Said Tyler Page, CEO of Cipher. We now have over 5 exahash of self-mining operations at our Odessa facility, and approximately 1 exahash of self-mining operations across our other 3 sites. But those are, like I said, the 49% stake that they have in those. Those get reported as assets, I believe, not revenue. In April, we continue to fund our operating expenses as well as our capital expenditures through ongoing operations without any dilution for shareholders. So that's good news there. And then we now look forward to completing the final phase of Odessa's build out this summer and turning our focus to the next stage of growth. They didn't provide actually what that next stage of growth is going to be. Okay. So that's all we got really from them. The 2% decrease in production relative to the previous month, what are they calling it? Deployed as part of its regulatory treasury management process. Okay, they sold it. All right. So that's it there. And it's going to be the same thing like it was for Bitfarms for the most part. The network hash rate going up has had an impact on all these miners as far as production is concerned. Okay, so shares outstanding for Cipher is about 248 million shares. Stock price is around $2.30, somewhere around there. It's probably down a little bit because of today. So like I said, that will get updated. Current hash rate is at 5 exahash. That's for their self-mining. Future hash rate is 6 exahash. That's basically all in right now as it is because I'm only calculating their self-mining at Odessa. Okay, future hash rate is done for the most part. BTC HODL is valued at about 2.1% of their market cap. The rest is their hash rate, basically. And their BTC HODL is valued about 12.3 million. So that's pretty good there. They do have some change laying around that they can use. Now, BTC production, we can see that they've basically started out right around summertime when they started mining. And that, I believe this is all for their 3 sites that are 49% owned through the joint venture. So those weren't really reported as revenue not until December. December was when they actually started mining it with Odessa. But you can see here a nice increase when they did that. And then it has continued here, but kind of flatlined here towards February, March. And now April, we're starting to see that come down. The thing that's going to happen more than likely is as the Bitcoin hash rate continues to go up, which I'm expecting it to do, their production is probably going to be starting to come down as they have pretty much maxed out their hash rate as it is right now. So that might be coming down here in the coming months as well. Okay, month-over-month difference BTC mined. You can see here we had a nice spike here in the months prior, December, January, February, and then it's coming back down. And then as far as BTC exahash efficiency has been coming down, you can see that it has been coming down like it has for the other miners as well. And then we got BTC HODL has been going up nicely and pretty consistently staying at these 400 some odd levels here. And as far as how much they've been selling, they did peak at 451 in March of what they sold, down to 406 here in April, and then January they were down, sold a little bit here along with February. So not too bad. Hash rate, they've had really good hash rate growth here for their self-mining. They installed 1.8 exahash in December. They added another 1.4, almost 1.5 in January, only 900 petahash in February. March was about 520 petahash added, and then now in April was about 230 some petahash added as well to get them to the 5 exahash for their self-mining. You can see here how that has been coming down, and I would expect that to continue to come down as they're pretty much fully installed right now. Revenue, as far as the value is concerned of what they've been mining here, it has been increasing here nicely to 11.7 million. This is for total. This includes their 3 other sites that they're reporting as assets. And then this is what they've been selling as far as monthly sale of BTC. So they sold, it looks like 11.7 million here in April, which is the most they've sold here following. So it has been growing as they've been producing more and more. Last 4 quarters revenue, we really don't have anything for them except for the Q4 numbers for them. This is current quarter that we're in, and this is actually for the first quarter that is being reported. Last 4 quarters operating costs, we don't have anything really for them. And then let's take a look at the other metrics here. Those are all the same. Those haven't changed here since last time. But let's take a look at the miners that they did get installed here in April. So they installed, it looks like, the 88 terahash miners, about 400 of those. Then they installed about 3,000 of these 100 terahash miners over here, and that was it to get into the 5 exahash. So here's how the breakdown works right now on Cipher. So we got Odessa, which is their self-mining facility here. They're at 5 exahash. Their Alvarez, Bear, and Chief facilities account for about 960 to 1 exahash, close to that number right there. So that's what it's accounting for. This is accounted as assets, I believe, when they do mine the Bitcoin. And then, so the total we get about 11.7, but their own self-mining, which is going to be reported as revenue, I believe is going to be 10.6. Now, I don't know that for a fact. I will find out once they actually report their Q1 results, which should have all of this information in there. So then I'll be able to figure out exactly what is what, but this is kind of what we're looking at right now as it is. Okay, so I just wanted to explain that to you guys a little bit. on it. And they were mining for approximately 13 days with the new miners and 28 days with the other miners. And three other facilities were, I'm guessing, mining for about 30 days. Just an estimate right now based on what they actually mined, what they got into as far as revenue is concerned. Okay, we still have quite a few miners here. I'm still, they did buy some, I don't know if this is still the case or not, if anybody has any news on this. The Bitfury miners, the 28 to 56,000 they were supposed to purchase of these 195 terahash miners. I don't know if those are going to be in. I have them down here, which might be a mistake. Probably should have added some of these 100 terahash miners in. I don't know if these are in yet. I may change that over to some of these over here because I don't know if that's actually the case of them being installed yet. Okay, let me see here. So based on that, because I'm not using any of those miners here, but I do have it in here. So I may have to update some stuff here. Okay, all right. So based on all of that and everything else, switch it back to 125. We can see that institutions and analysts, take a look at that really quick. And we have 109 institutions right now, so that's down from 110. And shares is at 12.76 million, down from 12.81 million. That's 5.13% of shares being held by institutions. We have now, however, one strong buy rating, that's an increase, and then we have 3 buy ratings, so that's good there. So they're getting more analysts covering them. The analyst ratings also for the price targets went up to $4 for the high from $3. The average went up to $3.50 from $2.90, and the low is now at $3 from $2.70. So that's good for them. Right now, with a PE of, let me see here. Oh, the last 3 quarters, we really don't have 3 quarters on them, but if we have an estimate. So I'm using Q1 numbers for them, Q4, which was reported, and I believe Q3 was also reported. So I'm using those along with the current quarter that we're in right now to be kind of forward looking on them. And that's giving us a total combined revenue of about 61 million. So with that, 50% net income from gross revenue with a PE of 20. I don't even know if that's fair there, but having at $2.48 to a PE of 20 with 75% net income at $3.72. They are currently at about $2 and some change here, $2.15, 18, whatever they are right now. So I do think that they are undervalued currently based on future growth for them, but they are pretty much tapped out as far as growth is concerned right now. So even if we go down to a 15 PE, we could see that they would be at $1.86 at that point. That would be overvalued on the 50% net income, but on the 75% net income gross revenue part of it, they would be undervalued on that one at $2.79, right? So it just all depends on what the investors are giving them as far as value, future value, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that is it on that one. Otherwise, great job by them getting all of these miners installed in such a short amount of time. I mean, it's quite a feat to install 50-some odd thousand miners in basically, well, over, 5 months? So 10,000 miners a month roughly. So fantastic job by them as far as growth is concerned. It's good to see that. And yeah, I mean, they've definitely outperformed some of the old dogs that we've had, like Hut 8, Hive, as far as growth is concerned. Along with, they've pretty much came pretty close to, well, they are tied now with Bitfarms as well. And Bitfarms has been around for a while. So Bitfarms definitely needs to kind of pick up their game a little bit and grow a little bit more. All right. But nonetheless, great job by both Bitfarms and Cipher for the month of April right now, getting stuff installed, getting stuff energized, mining. And that's kind of what we want to see going forward as well. We'll see what that pause is for Cipher and how long that pause is before they have things ready to go to Odessa for their second phase of the build out and what that's going to entail. Okay, so that's it for those. Let's take a look at Marathon really quick as well. And Marathon we'll just go over really quick because it's just an updated spreadsheet for them. So I did the same thing like I did for the rest of these guys. And it's just updated metrics here for the last 12 months in the charts, making it a little bit easier for everybody to see. So Marathon has about 167 million shares outstanding. Current hash rate is about 11.5. This was at the end of March. That was reported. We're still waiting on April. April numbers should come out sometime this week. Future hash rate is supposed to be about 23 exahash, so they do have about 11.6 exahash left to go. You can see that their BTC production has been going up quite nicely here. Through October of last year, went up to 615. Then we had a pretty big drop here to 472, 475 in December. Then went up nicely again in January at 687. February was 683. Given that it was a shorter month, that was actually pretty good. And then March was 825. We'll see where April comes in at. But their BTC value in the market cap is 14.6 16.42% of their market cap, and the rest, 83.58, is their regular mining here. They do have about 330 million worth of BTC HODL right now, which is at 11,466. Hash rate we were talked about. This is what they sold, and then you can see their monthly difference on BTC being mined. We've had a lot of down months here in the beginning of last year. Then they kind of picked back up things a little bit. Then it's kind of been sporadic after that. BTC HODL has consistently grown here from May when we started tracking it all the way through December, and then they started selling again in January, February, March. They sold 1,501 Bitcoins in January, 709 in February, 751 in March. So that has kind of paired off here a little bit where they are around the 700 mark, which is actually pretty good. And then BTC per exahash efficiency hasn't been the greatest. They've always been kind of towards the bottom end as far as efficiency, middle to bottom end efficiency wise. They are at 71.74 at the end of March. We'll see where April comes in. But one of the things that you have with efficiency is the more you grow or the faster you grow your hash rate in a given month, the lower your efficiency is going to go because it's going to offset, because those miners are not running for a full month to give you the full benefit of that efficiency rating. Hash rate revenue wise, here let's take a look at it. So you can see their hash rate ever since July, where they bottomed out at 700 petahash with their Montana facility being shut down after a storm. They had a powerful storm go through there that did some damage to the plant. That shut them down to about 700 petahash, and then after that, they started growing here quite nicely. They were stuck at 7 exahash for a couple months here, then a little bit growth in January, nice growth in February, and again in March, so that was good to see. And then you can see their Bitcoin production revenue. It's actually better now than it was pretty much last year at 20.72 million compared to 11.2 million, so that's always great to see that they've been able to outgrow from last year production-wise, revenue-wise. And you can see the hash rate difference here. They had a negative 3.2 exahash drop here in June. They had a nice couple months here of really nice growth, 2.5 exahash growth, 3.3, 2.2 exahash, 2 exahash as well. And then you can see how much they've been selling as far as Bitcoin is. In January, they sold about 30 million. In February, about 16.5. And in March, about 18.8 million. So that's helping them at least fund operations and not having to dilute. Last 4 quarters, we're waiting on obviously Q1 results, which should be probably reported within the next couple of weeks, I'm guessing. So we'll look at those to see how those have been improving, but this is kind of my estimate. They should be in Q1 approximately 50.55 million, but we'll see how close we are to that. And the last 4 quarter operating costs, like to see those come down as well in Q1, but we'll see. Other metrics, we've covered this before. Cost to mine Bitcoin has come down here in Q4 to 10.16, which is pretty good. Bitcoin mined quarterly, you can see that they were going up here in the beginning of the last year, came way down in Q3, and then Q4 had a nice increase as well, so that was good to see. Debt to equity, lower is better. You can see that that has been coming up here to 2.096, and that includes all of their debt, I believe, which is the 700 million that they have in convertible notes. And then the current ratio has come down here and gone back up a little bit, so they've been paying off some debt and building treasuries as well, so that's good there. They can pay off their current liabilities 10 times over. And then total current assets, that has been coming down. Main reason is Bitcoin price has been coming down as well, so the value for the coins that you hold has come down. But total current liabilities has also been coming down from a high here in Q2 of 90 million down to 26 million in Q4, which is good. I'd like to see that come down even more in Q1 of this year, but we'll see where that goes. Okay, institutions and analyst ratings, we can see we got 1 buy rating, 1 strong buy ratings, 4 buy ratings, 3 hold ratings, price target of $20 for the high, $11.40 for the average, and $4 for the low. They are currently about, well, now they're not down about to $9 and something and change. So right now I think that they are still pretty close to being fairly valued to being a little bit undervalued, is what I'm trying to say. Especially when Bitcoin starts going up in value, we could definitely see them getting a much higher PE than 20, but their growth is so good that I just see that kind of going up there anyways. Okay, so right now we're looking at combined total of about 170 million in revenue for the last 4 quarters, and that's using the estimated Q1 numbers as well. But we'll see where everything ends up at. Other than that, we'll hopefully get the numbers for April sometime in, well, this week hopefully, and then we'll see how that updates things, and we'll also update their current quarter to this current quarter that we're in Q2, see how that's going to affect things with having some nice quarters of nice Bitcoin production. Okay, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys have any questions on the comments. Love to hear from you guys there. As always, the spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members, and thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Thank you for all the YouTube members as well. You guys will get these sheets as well updated here, and probably within the next 24 hours or so when I have a little bit of time to get to them. Okay, so that's it. Let me know if you, like I said, if you have any questions. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a great evening. Bye.